I mean, maybe we just jump over to talking about Cleerly, like we mentioned earlier. What would be the advantage of, well, one, going from a stenosis score that clinicians probably don't know what to make of to a CAD-RADS, and then the advantage of jumping from the CAD-RADS to a Cleerly analysis?
Cleerly to a CAD-RADS. CAD-RADS similar to BI-RADS or PI-RADS. PI-RADS is for prostate cancer. BI-RADS is for breast cancer screening. And it's a clinically validated tool to where, if you do this and you go by the recommended management for people of certain CAD-RADS scores, you have less cardiac events. And
yes, that makes it quite simple.
That's the most simple way, but kind of to explain it a bit more complicated, we'll put up a chart that has CAD-RADS scores and what they're correlated with here later.
Let's jump to, let's say someone has a CAD-RADS of 1. So it's somewhere between 1 and 24%. Mm-hmm. Let's say I'm that patient with a 2% stenosis, right?
Yep.
CAD-RADS 1, only 2% stenosis. We don't know if it's calcified or uncalcified. So that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Why would I want to have it Cleerly at the start of this study and it Cleerly at the end of this study?
1 year, you could go from 2% to 23%, and your CAD-RADS would be the same. And all of the other parameters would likely be the same, including your calcium score, especially if we're not on a statin. Statins can tend to calcify plaque, and calcified plaque tends to not be unstable plaque. Cleerly can detect, it shows you what plaque is of particularly low density, which tends to be less stable. So that's kind of one of the limitations of CAD-RADS. It doesn't tell you of the non-calcified plaque or soft plaque that you have, what the density or potential stability is.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. So if you put yourself in the shoes of someone in the study and you have a 2% that goes to a 23%, that's extremely worrying.
But there's still no change.
Your CAD-RADS doesn't change. So the guideline-driven management wouldn't change until you cross that threshold into mild coronary artery disease.
Yeah. So the other parameters that they used to evaluate plaque score, segment involvement score, would these be better?
I don't know. I'm going to ask Budoff MD on Twitter for explain it like I'm 5 difference between CAD-RADS and this. But I'll hold this up so Dr. Gillett can give his take on these various metrics.
So here's the total stenosis. Probably doesn't mean CAD-RADS, but let's assume that it does. So we're just going to get away with that total stenosis score, keep the CAD-RADS. CCTA, that's decent, but it depends on how you analyze the CCTA. So we can keep that. Segment involvement score, crap. CAC score for younger individuals, crap. And total plaque, crap. So we're basically just left with the CCTA. So good job for doing those.
Yeah, and a test, like you said, is only as useful as the interpretation and subsequent management.